This is Motorcoach Travel News, MTN, from the American Bus Association. Here's Dan Ronan.
Welcome to Motorcoach Travel News from the American Bus Association. I'm Dan Ronan in Washington. We begin with the salute to Clyde Hart, ABA's longtime Senior Vice President of Government Affairs and Policy. As you may know, Clyde recently announced he's retiring after more than 14 years with ABA and nearly 40 years in Washington as one of the country's most respected leaders on transportation-related issues. Here are some of Clyde's many accomplishments. He worked with federal officials to help put seatbelts on new motor coaches beginning in 2016, but without retrofitting older motor coaches. ABA led a coalition of 10 transportation-related groups, getting legislation passed by the House and Senate and signed by President Obama. The law prevented the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration from enacting rules beyond the agency's usual scope concerning sleep apnea. In 2014, ABA's team successfully delayed FMCSA action to raise insurance motor coach minimums, and ABA worked with lawmakers to preserve the motor coach industry's partial fuel tax exemption. Clyde and his team protected the motor coach industry in several transportation reauthorization bills, including MAP 21 and its predecessor, Safety Lou. Now, privately owned motor coach companies, their passengers and employees are included in federal safety initiatives. The industry also benefited from his expertise, as state and federal officials must include motor coach companies when it comes to improving rural transportation options for passengers. Clyde played a key role in the implementation of the landmark Americans with Disabilities Act and the impact on the motor coach industry. And in a city with hundreds of lobbyists, Clyde is known for his integrity. He's been recognized by several groups for his great work, and two in particular, The Hill newspaper and Association Trends named Clyde Hart their most effective association lobbyist. At a U.S. Department of Transportation event last year, Clyde spoke movingly about his love affair with the motor coach industry.
I grew up in northern New Jersey. The only way to get from where I was in northern New Jersey to anywhere else was an inner-city bus. So my introduction to a wider world, starting when I was a teenager, was through Greyhound. Later on in a subsequent life, my life took me to a place called Griffiths Air Force Base, New York. The only way to get to Griffiths was by Greyhound bus out of Port Authority, New York, New Jersey. I also watched as Greyhound took the Freedom Riders south. I watched the Cena Cruiser burn when it had the guts to take people on the Freedom Rides. It's something I've never forgotten, and something that I want to honor today is the bus industry's role in keeping America strong, making America live up to the ideals that we all believed in.
While Clyde is retiring, he will still be putting his expertise to use for ABA and the industry. He's just been named to a key FMCSA advisory committee to help develop regulatory rulemaking for entry-level driver training for motor coach and truck drivers. This consensus-based, industry-driven approach to developing regulations, known as a negotiated rulemaking, represents a rare opportunity for industry leaders to help shape new regulations that are being written before a clear opinion develops within the regulatory agency. For more information on this issue and to submit your feedback, contact Clyde Hart or ABA's Director of Regulatory Affairs, Brandon Buchanan. The emails are on your screen. The ABA salutes our friend and longtime colleague Clyde Hart on MTN. More of our conversation now with MCI CEO Rick Heller, who with his more than 4 years as leader of this great Motorcoach company, has implemented its Quality at the Source initiative with great results in coach reliability and aftermarket parts.
We've sold more vehicles, our market share is up versus 5 years ago, and that's been very positive. The other thing we've worked on very hard is to improve our support to customers. So our parts fulfillment rate now has improved dramatically. We're at world-class levels of parts fulfillment. So 90% of the orders that come in today get shipped out in full within 24 hours.
Motorcoach owners and operators rank reliability as their primary priority.
We've also substantially upgraded our technical support. We're bringing our emergency roadside assistance program in-house and staffing it with senior technicians. We've added field support staff to get greater coverage in the field. We've done much better training for our technical people, so they're more equipped to deal with things. We've done a lot of training for all the techs in our service centers. So we've got a big push to substantially improve the support we provide to our customers from an aftermarket parts standpoint and from a technical support standpoint. So all of that has come together. Better quality, better support to drive more market share and more volume and improve our financial performance.
In the coming months on MTN, we'll talk with other MCI leaders to learn how the company's reliability-driven philosophy is delivering higher quality, safety, and passenger comfort, and the lowest total cost of operation. When U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Anthony Foxx arrived in Washington recently, 3 representatives from the American Bus Association were among the dozens of people greeting the Secretary at the media event at Washington's Union Station. Mr. Foxx had been on the road as part of the Grow America Express, a 5-state motorcoach tour highlighting the importance of transportation and infrastructure investments. He returned to Washington's historic Union Station, and myself, ABA's Senior Director of Communications, Dan Ronan, the Director of Regulatory Affairs, Brandon Buchanan, and Legislative and Communications Coordinator, Matthew Cahill, were there. With a May 31st deadline approaching, the Secretary and others, including ABA, are seeking a long-term federal highway bill that would fund repairs and new construction on hundreds of highways, roads, bridges, and other critical infrastructure projects. Mr. Fox's uncertainty in federal funding is creating a nightmare for much-needed public projects, and that it's difficult even keeping up with repairs, let alone prepare and plan for the expected U.S. population growth, adding as many as 70 million more people to the population by the middle of the decade. Mr. Foxx said, quote, "This conversation is happening all over the country, and everywhere I go, there's a to-do list a mile long. You know what we need to do, and the challenge is having the resources and the courage to do it," unquote. Earlier this month, the Obama administration proposed a $478 billion 6-year surface transportation reauthorization proposal. The White House says the plan would make critical investments in infrastructure that's needed to promote long-term economic growth, enhance safety and efficiency, and support jobs for the 21st century. I'm Dan Ronan. Thanks for watching.